And let's move to Representative Williams' bill, House Bill 5686. Representative Williams.
Chairman, thank you very much. Members of the committee, good evening. I would like at this time, if I'm allowed, Mr. Chairman, to take up 5308 first.
Yes, you do have another bill in front of the committee. If you want to introduce that bill before we get to 5686,
Yes.
please feel free.
5308 came about with regards to child support. This pretty much will tell it all. This act would reduce the number of days of child support in arrearage from 90 days to 60 days for an obligor to be deemed not in compliance with a court order of child support and be subject to license suspension. This act would also allow the family court to grant a conditional driver's license suspension to allow an obligator to drive to and from employment. This act would also shorten certain notice requirements and would require a lump sum payment of 50% of past due child support and a payment plan in order to restore compliance with a court order support. The intent of this bill is due to the fact that the majority of head of households are women. Not to take away credit from any man, because we do have men who have taken on the responsibility to care for their child or children. However, it is extremely difficult being a single parent and being able to keep up with your expenses. Having it at 90 days, what happens is it ends up being double that time in most cases. And then it goes to where it's a year. While there is legislation currently on the books that if a parent is behind on $500 back payment on their child support, they're automatically called in and their license is suspended. Unfortunately, it's not being enforced. And I can understand everybody's overwhelmed, not enough employees to follow through with their responsibility of their jobs and stuff. But a child, a family, a spouse must also survive. There's rent to be paid, food to be bought, clothes to be bought, and if that person is depending on that child support, it needs to be there. Granted, in some cases, and that would be needed to be proven, there are parents who don't have a job, so therefore they cannot pay their child support responsibilities. However, they also have a responsibility to bring that information to the court. Most often, they don't because of an array of reasons. Fear that they're going to be locked up, fear that the job that they have is going to be garnished, and rightfully so, but at any instance, in any case, they need to abide by their responsibility. It took two, one came or two came from it, so this legislation would shorten that time frame and also give the court an opportunity to work things out with the individual. So I'll entertain any questions on that bill.
Okay, that bill only has Steve Brown from the ALCU has signed up. Well, when he comes up on the other bill, we'll take both at the same time. Let's move on to 5686, Representative Williams.
Okay, thank you. 5686. This act would allow the Department of Motor Vehicle to issue driving privilege licenses and driving privilege permits to applicants unable to establish lawful presence in the United States. The driver's privilege license and driver privilege permit would not be valid for identification purpose. Mr. Chairman, members of this committee, every time I come before you, I feel that I have I have to convince you that I am just like you. I feel that each and every time I have come before you this year, I have had to explain to you, present to you that the struggle is real. That just like your forefathers, as we celebrate the Irish and the Italians, they came looking for the dream, and so is other immigrants that have come to this state. In the year 2000, a man by the name of Quiroa, he was Guatemala. From Guatemala, he proposed to the DMV, proposed with the IRS presenting that instead of a Social Security, that individuals undocumented who had a tax ID number could utilize that to get a driver's license. He convinced those in authority at the time that that was a good idea. At the time, it was Robert Carl Jr. who he presented it to, and rightfully so. He got it. He went to his superior, which then was Governor Almond, presented that to him, also presented it to the state police, who also agreed that it was a great idea. 2002, voila. That opportunity, that privilege was granted. No buildings have caught on fire. No illegal immigrants have killed anybody. There hasn't been anything different. The taxes are being paid. The children are being educated. And trust me, they are law-abiding citizens and have done so since the proposal in 2000. 17 years later, we're here again to prove that we are worthy. 17 years. There was no massive of anything that happened when 2002, the privilege was established. Nothing. It's a safety issue. This situation is about people. It's about families. It's about children. I cannot understand what is it that this administration do not get. I come and I plead to you. I come and I ask you. I come and I sit and eat with you, and I try to get you to see our side of the fence. Now, as it was stated, since there couldn't be any more renewals, a caveat was added, several in fact, that would safeguard those individuals who were concerned, all of a sudden were concerned. An affidavit must be filed with the DMV attesting that an application to legalize immigration status has been or will be filed as soon as possible. Again, not asking for a handout, but saying, can you give a hand? I will do these things. I can do these things. I have done these things, but yet and still, it's not good enough. Many of you do not know the process of trying to get legalized statuses. It's a long, expensive, and sometimes drooling process. And the environment today that we're in, it's certainly going to be harder. But see, each one of you here in Rhode Island, my colleagues, in as much as you don't look like me, you haven't gone through the issues and trials and tribulations like me, can understand that it is a right, a human right. And all that's being asked is for an opportunity to be able to achieve these things with the numerous 9 restrictions in order to be able to obtain a driver's license. Insurance will be paid. Taxes will be continued to be paid because taxes are being paid. Individuals can take and pick up their child or children. They can go to their medical appointments and not be the hidden people because we are making them non-existent. Don't belong here. Our forefathers didn't belong here either. Many of them was brought over here unfairly, but out of that, I came. So, 17 years is a long time, and it's really, really something that I ask you today to think about it. You can be the change for our sisters and brothers in our communities. They are no different than your mother, Representative Filippi. I don't know if they were born here. But your nationality, I know that you have descendants that came and was looking for that dream. And, honey, with your record, I know you achieved that and more. There's no different with these individuals. It's about being able to have the resources, and it takes time to get the resources. But in the meantime, we can make sure that the roads are safe, not only for them, but for each one of you, just in case, for each and every one of you. They will be legitimate with their license, with their insurance, and all that needs to be in place. I thank you very much for the opportunity in the 17th year to be able to come before you and ask for the opportunity to be able to represent these Rhode Islanders. They're not only in my district, they're also in your district. You just don't know it. You just don't know it. So I ask you to talk amongst each other. And if you want, you can talk to me too. The struggle is real. And I would hope that this time you would give it more consideration. And I know you have to safeguard and protect yourself, just like I do. But more important than you protecting yourself and me protecting myself, these individuals have to protect themselves in the event they are pursued unfairly because they look different. And it's that possibility they may be one that they could be caught up with on ICE. I ask you in the 17th year to please consider amongst yourselves that it's time that we give. It worked before. There was no buildings burnt down and nobody murdered and none of that stuff. Give the people what they need. They are our brothers and sisters and friends and neighbors. I thank you.